episode of Just Jay the podcast. We have a special one today, but as you can see, I have like a different setup going on here. This is just my setup for when I'm solo. I got this nice, beautiful chair, and then I got these orange pillows. Hold on, Halloween vibes. Halloween vibes. If you're just listening to the audio, please head over to the YouTube and check out some of the visuals that I've posted because my visuals are just getting so much better every chance that I get at them, and I'm just improving my presence on each platform that I'm on. So please tune into the audio and the visuals. You will not regret it, and you'll get to see me and my pretty studio and my pretty face. Period. But yeah, I like my new studio. It's a little chilly down here, so I got me a little orange blanket. Hold on, let me set the mood. Let me get in the vibe. Period. You see it. But today we have a really, really, really special show because it's going to be talking about just some things that I have or that have been brought to my attention in the past couple days. A lot of my friends have been going through it, whether it be with their families, with the guys that they're dating or whatever. So I want to talk about a few things. First of all, I want to talk about love bombing because I don't think I was educated enough on that topic when I first heard about it, and then I want to share what I know with you guys so that you guys are a little educated on just how to maneuver with people that you're trying to develop relationships with. And then I also want to talk about mental health in Black men, but also in the Black community as a whole, because I think that's something that we really, really, really don't allow ourselves to dive deep into as Black people. And I feel like not to say that we need it the most, but I think truly mental health is something that everybody should have, knowledge about, and everybody should, be taking the right steps to make sure that they're mentally okay at all times. So that's the show. We got some really good topics. But yeah, we're going to dive right into it. This is going to be a good one. First of all, I want to talk about my new segment that I've added to the show. It's called Ask Jay. It's pretty much, how people post it's like an Instagram feature that I'm using to do it. But you can, it's a link in my bio. My Linktree has all my links for my YouTube, my audio platforms, my Soul New York playlist, everything. And Ask Jay is at the top of the Linktree, so it's not hard to find at all. It's literally the link in my bio. You click that, and it'll take you to my Linktree, and Ask Jay will be right at the top. Then it's going to take you to another website that it's going to say, type an anonymous message to Just Jay the podcast. And that's how you can submit your questions, anything you want me to give my opinion on, anything you want words of wisdom on, or you just want to hear me talk about, or suggestions, anything like that. I'm open to all of it. So yeah, Ask Jay is going to be a new segment that I'm introducing slowly but surely. I think that's a good way for me to interact with you guys and not just be basing my show off my topics and what I want to talk about. That's a good way for you guys to give your input, and we can talk about things that you want to talk about, So just a brief segment in the beginning of every show. I'm going to be taking topics from there and answering them on the show or responding to them on the show. My first I only have one for today's episode, but it's a very, very, very important one because I feel like as women, we've all been through this, or maybe not all, because I don't know, maybe you haven't, but a lot of us have gone through this, and I think it's very, very important for me to share my experiences and the experiences that I've watched my friends go through as well. So, on this show, I aim to just have real conversations and real perspectives, so everything that I speak about is 110% based on my personal experience, my experiences that I watched other people that I love and know go through, and just the knowledge that I have on a lot of things that I've learned throughout my life. So the first Ask Jay topic for today, I should say the first and only, is my opinion on love bombing. First of all, let's talk about what love bombing even is. Love bombing is, I have a lot of notes today because I have a lot of information that I really want to get out to y'all. So if you see me looking over, I'm looking at my notes. But love bombing is the act of lavishing someone with attention or affection, especially in order to influence or manipulate them. Let me break that down in real bitch logic, okay? That pretty much means you meet a guy, y'all start talking or whatever, and he's showing you so much affection, so much compassion, so much everything that you've always wanted, right? He's showing it to you. He's giving you everything that you could ask for immediately, right in the beginning, right? And then you get that for a while. Let's say maybe, I don't know, I don't want to put a love, I mean, and I don't want to put a timeline on love bombing, but this is from my experience and my friends' experiences as well of you messing with a guy, right? So y'all are messing with each other. At this point, you're so you're so receptive of the affection and the attention that you're getting from this person that you're not really thinking anything of it. Yes, things are probably moving very, very fast, but this is everything that you've wanted, and this is someone that just came into your life and is just willing to show you everything. Like his intentions are clear. It's great, right? Then all of a sudden it stops, and his behavior completely changes, right? To where he's probably not talking to you as much, or he has completely stopped talking to you, ghosting you type way, and now you're stuck like, what the fuck just happened? Like, how did he switch so drastically? That is love bombing. Love bombing is when somebody fills your head up and fills your heart up with an abundance of love, an abundance of affection so quickly, and then takes it away. It's a form of manipulation, 100%. I have been love bombed before, and I think that I will say that it falls under the to influence or manipulate them, but I feel like in my situation, I think the person that did this to me, I think he just knew that I had a soft spot for him, which again equates to manipulation, yes. He knew I had a soft spot for him, and I don't know what it was about this person, but I have this tendency to want to fix people, or to want to be a supportive hand for people, you know, when in reality, like, that's not my job. I'm not, first of all, I am nobody's therapist, I am nobody's doctor, I am nobody's fucking mom. Like, that's not my job to take care of people. That's not my job to heal people or fix people. When you address me, you should already be in the process of healing yourself and fixing yourself. That was my first problem, thinking that I had the ability to completely fix this man and build him to be everything that I want him to be. Wrong. So I believe that he gave me so much love and so much attention because he knew that was, first of all, he knew that I had a genuine heart. He knew that I had a different type of, connection with him. So he preyed on that and, love bombed me for as long as he could, and then immediately snatched it away. I think that's the worst part about being love bombed, is when they snatch it away, you're literally left like, yo, what the fuck just happened? Like, that shit. And I hate, there's this saying that says men change like seasons, right? And that is extremely, extremely true. But I feel like as I get older, right? Hear me out. Because I was one of those girls that was screaming niggas ain't shit. I was screaming they're all the same. I'm never gonna find nobody that da 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 da, right? But truthfully, as I have gotten older and I have had more experiences with grown men, like, when I say grown men, I don't mean fucking extremely grown, bitch. We're not talking about 45 and up, no. Guys my age or, a little older that are actually grown, that are actually in their manly era, that are actually trying to do right by women, that are actually trying not to negatively impact your life. Once I started to, I think that all boils down to changing, like, the energy that you give out. Because if you're giving out energy like, oh, niggas ain't shit, like, they all gonna be the same, you're gonna attract those same ain't shit niggas, and they're going to all be the same. So once you understand that, like, damn, you know what? Not all niggas are the same. There are some good ones. We can't blame the last 3 that were fucking shitty and categorize everybody as being ain't shit ass niggas. That's not true. So I think when you change that mindset, and as you get older, you really start to see that, you know what? Not all niggas are like this. You know what I'm saying? It just, you're gonna go through a lot of niggas before you really understand that. But I think once I understood that, you can't categorize all men as the same, I started seeing a variety of different niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I feel like I'm experiencing men that are actually fucking men and not boys. That's what I will say. And I think the last situation of me being loved by, he was 100% a boy. 100% a boy that I wanted to fix and heal and mold into a man. And that shit, you can't, man, a man ain't gonna change if he don't want to change for you. Stop trying to change these men, because if they see you for what you are, and if they actually desire to be with you, and they see something in you, they're going to automatically want to change and conform to whatever it is you desire, and whatever it is that they need to do to show up for you. You know what I'm saying? So a man is going to change for who he wants to change for. If it ain't you, it ain't you, and he going to show you that it ain't you, because he's going to continue to do the same shit. So love bombing, horrible, terrible thing. I hate it. I just feel like I've said this literally since the beginning of this fucking podcast. I like to be mindful of how I affect other people's lives. I don't want to be a negative person in your life. I don't want to make you feel like I'm doing you dirty. I don't want to do that, because I know how it feels to have somebody that you care about treat you negatively. We often think we have a higher place value in other people's lives than we really do. So I think that it's important to, first of all, know your impact on other people's lives. If you know that you're not going to impact this person's life positively, don't involve yourself with them. Because first of all, who wants to hurt anybody? Because then then you have to deal with their feelings. But some people don't really take into consideration how they make other people feel, so I can't really say that. But just being a shitty person is not fun. But yeah, that's how I feel about love bombing. I don't know. I just went on so many different tangents and talked about so many different things, but y'all get it. Hopefully it comes together. I don't know, child. The title of this episode, though, is going to be a safe space for men. When I say that, I mean because we all know that my cousin committed suicide a couple years ago in 2018, right? And that is one of the pivotal life moments for me that completely changed how I looked at mental health, how I looked at life, and how I looked at men. Because a man's job, quote unquote, or role in life is to support, provide, and be the leader of the household, right? Those three things in themselves are extremely difficult, extremely. And that's a lot of pressure for society to put on men in general. You can't, if we're really, let's really break this down, right? Me, I'm 22 years old. I'm still trying to figure out my fucking life out. So I feel like it's really unrealistic for us to look at men like, nah, you got to have this shit figured out. You got to have mad money in the bank. You got to have mad shit going for yourself. You got to provide for me and you. And you got to be my support system, and you got to support yourself too. That's way too much to ask for a man to do. So imagine a man who was raised on, you got to be tough. You don't cry. That's not manly. That's feminine. No, it isn't. I think it was like season 2 maybe of this episode where I had my dad on it, and he was on for like a brief couple minutes, and we had asked him like, how was it growing up when you were taught like, you don't cry? You know how when you're taught younger that showing emotions is a sign of weakness. Do you feel like as you've gotten older you've come out of that and become more in touch with your emotions? And if so, what kind of drove that? Because I personally feel like my answer for you would probably be like
your
me.
Children.
Yeah.
Your children.
Because I show my emotions, and you've always been so like, okay, if you feel something, say it. So does your children have a role in,
or did
that?
Something happen in your life that you felt?
Well, first of all, that's a true statement, because we were always taught, boys don't cry,
Mm-hmm.
shut your mouth, certain things you keep to yourself, all of that type of stuff. But I guess, becoming a parent, I think just becoming an adult,
Mm-hmm.
you change.
Yeah.
Your perspective changes. And I think my elders lived a different time.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of understand and respect why they were saying what they were saying. But that doesn't hold true now.
Yeah.
Because you want your children to be able to express themselves. You don't bottle that shit up.
He was pretty much saying like, when you're, first of all, two totally different generational standards and generational teachings that we're trying to implement now versus back then when my dad was growing up. You don't cry. Crying is what the women do. Point blank period. Crying was deemed as less masculine, weak. I was just talking to one of my friends about this a couple days ago, and she had said something really important. And she was like, honestly, I feel like our generation is creating is trying to create a safe space for men to open up and feel like they can do that. And I think that is absolutely true, because I feel like this generation in time in 2022, we are in our 20s, we're trying to figure out our lives, and we're also understanding the importance of the inside shit. It doesn't matter how you look outside, as long as you're, matching that energy on the inside. And mental health and physical health all play a part in that. And I think this generation, well, my generation today, is really, really doing our part to understand mental health, understand the importance of physical health, understand that what you eat and what you do on a daily basis truly affects your body, and that is something that you should really be paying attention to try to improve your, not only your life, but your lifespan. So I totally agree with her when she said that, like, I think this generation is trying to provide a safe space for men, because I think as women, we're kind of, I don't know, I'm going to say women, but I'm also going to say black women as well, because I think black women are the least respected in society as a whole. And me as a black woman, I'm going to biasly say that I don't think that should be the case, but it is. So I think for black women, our main thing right now is trying to not only stand strong for ourselves, but also uplift our black men and show them that it is important to cry. It is important to go to therapy. It is important to do whatever you feel like is going to make you feel better up here, not only out here. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it is very important to just, because what I will say about black men, and I'm going to use my cousin Khalid as an example, they're gonna put on the bravest face. They're gonna smile every day. They're gonna make you feel like they enjoy everything about their life. There was no indication that boy was depressed. I can say that wholeheartedly, because I know everybody that went through that situation with me could agree. There was no indication that he was depressed. There was no indication that he was struggling at life. There was no clear signs to me, because he was always smiling, always at work, always in school, always doing his homework, always trying to do this, always trying to do better, always trying to do more, right? Typical man thing. But we have to understand, not only as women, but as a community, that men are better at hiding it. Men are better at, just thugging it out when they really, number one, don't have to and shouldn't have to. So I have a lot of facts on this little paper that I wrote for my notes this week, and it says women are the heads of households in about 30% of black homes compared to 9% of white homes. That was really significant to me, because that just goes to show that there are a lot more black homes that are ran by women who are probably doing it by themselves, probably providing by themselves, compared to the white races. Families are sticking together more in the white races than they are in the black community, which has been probably the standard, or not even the standard, which has been the case, unfortunately, for us for a long, long time. It was shocking to me when I read that fact, but it wasn't anything it was shocking, but it also wasn't, because it was like, okay, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Serious mental illness rose among all ages of black people between the years 2008 and 2018. That's so crazy, because my cousin died in 2018. I don't know, when you actually do the research and actually try to understand the statistics behind, society and mental health, there's a lot of things that will have you like, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. And those two facts 100% made a lot of sense to me. I was also doing some, research, because I like to do research on the things that I speak about on my show, because I like to just have the facts. I like to have a lot of knowledge on whatever it is I'm talking about. And I went on this website, and it said there were a few reasons why there was a rise in suicides among Black Americans. One was social media. Social media really increases the pressure one feels to fit into their society. So social media is 100% something that plays a part in our mental health, our day-to-day life, and how we really, really feel. And I know that for a fact, because it's very, very hard to remain humble and remain trusting in your process when you see people on social media who are your age if not younger, with money, cars, houses, this extravagant lifestyle that you've always envisioned and wanted for yourself. Others are getting it. But I think that is just the main thing with that is like you have to trust your process, and you have to understand that just because you see them on social media winning doesn't mean that your time isn't going to come, because everybody's time comes differently. That could be their time to shine, and it's just your time to watch it. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that your life is not going to be everything that you want it to be. That's not true at all. But social media definitely plays a part in just how we feel day to day, and how I seen this meme on Instagram a couple days ago, and it was like, if social media crashed for 1 year, I think that would be the best thing for society, because that would force everybody to, first of all, read a fucking book, take a walk, and interact with the people in front of you, and put that motherfucking phone down. I am not opposed to social media crashing for 1 year. I'm not opposed. But also, my friend Jada, she is really, really good at getting a grasp on how social media makes her feel, right? Because she will deactivate her Instagram page for months. And then when she goes on vacation, she'll reactivate it just to show like the highlights of the trip, and then deactivate it again. Like, she was quick to understand, like, yo, that social media shit is whack. Everybody's showing you the good parts of their lives and not showing you the bad parts. That's another reason why social media plays with our mental and our emotions, because we think that everybody is, making it and has all this money. They're not showing you the bad parts and the hard shit that they had to go through to get there. They're just showing you the aftermath. They're showing you the results. So everything that you see on social media is not going to be 100% how it was depicted, and 100% how that person's life is right now. They're not going to show you the process that it took to get here. That's the problem. Social media is 100% blinding everybody into believing that success happens overnight, which it does not, and that your life is not as good as you think it is. There's no such thing as a life that's better than yours. Y'all didn't listen to that J. Cole song? So I definitely think social media plays a very extreme part. 2, mental health stigma impedes Black people from seeking help. I think a lot of people for a long time, right, in the Black community thought that if you go to therapy or if you get help, you're crazy. That is the most untrue statement in the world. That does not make you crazy. That makes you somebody that is responsible and, in tune with themselves, who wants to better their life and better their mental capacity. Mental health is not a joke. That's not something to play with. That's not something that you can just be like, oh, whatever, like, I don't really feel too good mentally right now, but I'm going to just let it go and I'm going to just keep doing what the fuck I got to do. No, that is the worst thing you can do for yourself. Even if you just sit down and journal or talk to somebody, or it doesn't even have to be a fucking therapist. It could be your family member or your friend. Doesn't matter. Find a way to get your emotions out somehow that works for you and stick to that. There's nothing wrong with, and try everything. Try journaling, try going to the gym, try going on walks, try talking to your family members, try talking to your friends. Do a fucking book club, read a book, do something, pick up a new hobby. Do everything that you have to do, trial and error, to find what suits you in coping with your mental health. Because mental health is going to be a continuous journey for the rest of our lives. That's not going to be something that you completely heal everything that you've gone through in your life and now you're perfect for the rest of your life. No. Because as you go through life, there's going to be new things that pop up. There's going to be new things that hurt you. And there's going to be new things that you have to heal from. Healing is going to take the rest of our lifetimes. We might die, and there might be things that we still didn't heal from in our lifetime. And that's okay, as long as we try to do the work. Mental health is going to be something that is important for the rest of our lives. And I'm glad that this generation is working so hard to make sure that we understand that, because that is super important. Treatment is often less accessible for Black people. Also very true. Because a lot of Black people, or a lot of people, not even Black people for real, but people in the world who don't have insurance, don't have access to healthcare, don't have access to, don't even know how to go about finding a therapist, or don't have the money to fund a therapist because they don't have insurance. Because therapy, one, is going to cost money. Or if you go through insurance, that forces people to have to sit with their trauma and deal with them themselves. They can't really get the help that they need because they don't have the resources to achieve that. And I think that is so sad. And I think that, again, that is something that I think our generation and society today is trying to improve, more and more, but that is still a problem. Black people face racism and discrimination. I just gave you 4 amazing reasons as to why there is a rise in suicide among Black Americans, and I think that last one tops it. We'll make all this progress as Black people, right? Getting our voices heard, getting our points across, right? And then there'll be another case of police brutality that'll knock us 3 steps back. And then we'll make a little bit of progress, and then there'll be another case that knocks us 3 steps back. And then there'll be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a ongoing struggle and process for us to be heard and to not be discriminated against. I think it's unfortunate, and I hate that I have to say this, but I think racism and discrimination will be something that Black people as a whole will have to combat our entire lives. Because if you really think about it, Martin Luther King, that was years and years and years ago. Look at all the work that he had to do from the beginning to get us to where he led us to. And look at all the work that we have to do to be heard every single day. I think at the beginning of the pandemic was when I really, really, really grasped that. That whole George Floyd thing, bro, I was in the streets. Like, I was at protests. Like, that shit is something that I will never, ever forget in my 22 years of my life, because that was real deal shit. Racism and discrimination and police brutality, those are main issues in our community that we are really, really struggling to fight for or fight against every single day. So I think that that's something that we'll always, have to deal with. And one male dies by suicide every 14.4 minutes. When I seen that shit on the internet, I was like, what? First of all, 60 minutes is 1 hour, right? Now, hold on, let me get my calculator for sure, because I'm really about to do this, right? 60 minutes, let's do 60 divided by 14. That's 4.3. So that's 4 men dying every hour. There's 24 hours in a day. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you see the rabbit hole that I'm going down right now? Like, that's crazy. That is so sad. That is so terrible that men feel. And also, this is the thing, like, my cousin also taught me this too, that I feel like men, instead of doing all the therapy and all the, talking to people and journaling and all the ways that you can try to help, your mental health, I feel like for men, the only way out for them that they really feel is logical is suicide. And that hurts so bad to have to admit, because first of all, we need our men. We love our men. That's hello. And we truly, truly need our men. Men thinking that suicide is the best option for them really, really, really hurts me. It really, really does. Because that's like the most untrue statement ever. Like, that is not the only way out. That is not the only solution. Like, but then again, when somebody is, and I've talked about this before, when somebody is mentally ill and they're depressed and they have all these problems on top of problems piled up on them, they feel like, life is just so much better without me in it. And it's so hard convincing them that that is not true. So there are 3.9 male deaths by suicide for each female death by suicide. So every 1 female that dies, there are 3.9 males that die. Let's just round it up to 4. Wow. 77% of men polled have suffered with common mental health symptoms like stress, anxiety, and depression. As women, we have to, I don't care if it's your father, I don't care if it's your brother, I don't care if it's your boyfriend, I don't care if it's just a male friend that you have. Ask the men in your life how they are doing. Ask them how they're feeling. Ask them what they want to talk about. Like, you will ask a man, how are you and how you're doing, and they'll say, oh, I'm good. You know, same old same shit. Like, you know, they don't really, I don't feel like they really feel like they have a safe space to really vent and really pour their heart out about how they feel. Make that safe space for the men in your life. Create it. It's our job as women to allow them to feel like they can be as emotional as we are. Like, it's impossible for us to disagree with that. Like, because if you think about it, if you're in a relationship with a person and you're having a bad day, who are you calling? Your man, because you want to talk about with your man, right? And you want to unload everything that you have gone through throughout the day onto your man, right? Me, for example, I live with my father. Any minor inconvenience, I'm calling my dad. I want to talk to my dad. I'm going to tell my dad. But little do we know, our dads have the same fucking issues that we probably have. Our dads are, first of all, my dad is a provider. He's a supporter. He's also trying to make a living for himself, also trying to make a living for everybody in this household while maintaining his fucking sanity every day. That is so hard to do, especially, I use my dad as an example for a lot of things because I feel like he's in his late 40s, 50 is creeping around the corner. And there's a lot of things that I know that he's gone through or experienced when he was like 15, 20, 24, 30, that he probably has never healed from. Like, if my dad was to remember, I used this analogy before about how I have my backpack of stuff, my backpack of traumas, right? And when you go through life and you acquire new traumas, you just put it in your backpack, right? Without really emptying it out. So you have shit at the bottom of that backpack that you probably totally forgot about. If my dad was to come and unload and dump out his bag of traumas, first of all, he'd probably be dumping for a while, and there would probably be shit in there that he totally forgot about and that he totally thought that he moved on from, that probably plays a part in how he is day to day now. That goes for any man. That's not just for my dad. That goes for our boyfriends, our brothers, our uncles. We gotta understand, and I'm a black woman, so I'm speaking on my black community and the black kings that I have in my life. Black men go through hell to simply survive. Like, really think about that. As a black man, I cannot imagine how that feels because of everything that you see in social media, everything that you see in the news, everything that you see in life. Being stopped by the police as a black man is probably very traumatizing, probably very nerve-wracking, probably very hard to keep your cool in that situation, right? So think about black men and their interactions with police, right? Think about black men and their interactions with the women that they date or, the children that they have. Life is hard for everybody. So now imagine being a man who feels like he don't have nobody to turn to, or a man that feels like I can't really express how I feel truly because I have to provide. I have to be the strong one for my household. No, as women, we need to create that safe space for them to where they feel like they can cry or where they feel like they can call you up and be like, yo, you know what? I'm not really feeling like myself today, so can I just tell you everything that's on my mind? And we have to be right there to meet them with solutions or meet them with, affirmations and reassurance that everything is going to be okay. Men, we got to stop forcing our men to be these strong-willed people who and act like they don't have their own shit going on, because that's not fair. That's not right. That's not true. So what I want y'all to take away from this episode truly is that as women, let's be there for our men more. Let's give them more of a safe space because they create safe spaces for us to thrive and bask in our femininity and do everything that we want to do. So let's return the favor to them, because society and life in general is already not on their side. Already. So let's give them, like I said, safe spaces to be themselves, safe spaces to be vulnerable, safe spaces to be emotional, safe spaces to be who they truly want to be, and safe spaces to just get that shit out. Because, holding everything in and masking everything that you've been through, it's only gonna linger. Those negative emotions that you feel are only going to linger. So you really deal with your shit and work through it. Everything that you feel negatively towards the things that you have gone through is going to linger. So that's how I feel about it. The moral of this episode is to just be mindful of, I think I have the same moral all the time, but just be mindful of how you impact other people. And if you are able to be there for somebody, and if it's a man, so be it. If you're there to be a listening ear to a man or to somebody in your life, do that. Because we really don't know how hard it is to come by people that you feel like you can be open with, or people that you feel like you can express yourself with. That's not easy to come by. That's not something that we all have, really. And I think that because it is so hard to have access to, you know, healthcare or therapy or a safe community or something that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very hard to find outlets for the things that we go through. So I think that is important for us to come together and lean on each other, especially as Black women and especially as Black men. We are all we have in our community. So we have to be each other's main supporters and biggest fans. So that's how I feel. Thank you for another great episode. Thank you for another real conversation with real perspectives. Hope to see you next week. Like, subscribe, share, and yeah, thanks for the love. Bye.